buddy? This is Stan Johnson of WIX News. Hey, good buddy. Mike, can you explain to us why you didn't, issue a challenge on that last play of the final 2 minutes of the Washington Redskins game? The team that's known as the Washington Redskins?
Well, I was in a position where I didn't see enough to challenge the call. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that story. I'm gonna stick with that story right there.
And thus, another year, another Dallas Cowboys thumping. And I'm a huge Dallas Cowboy fan, all right? I'm not like one of these blind witnesses Dallas Cowboy fans that have these high expectations and then you get let down at the end of the season and then you get back let up again through the draft and stuff. So to get into the future of the Dallas Cowboys, I first like to go into the ghost of Christmas past and present of the Dallas Cowboys, and then we'll talk about the future of the Dallas Cowboys. In the past, they locked Ezekiel Elliott. They were in talks with Amari Cooper as far as signing extension with the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, that's good, okay? In the draft last year, they picked solid picks, all right? CeeDee Lamb is a star in the making. He pretty much landed in their laps. Okay, that's good, all right? They also made some recent acquisitions in the offseason to bolster the defense. That was okay. All right. They got a new head coach. Defensive. They stuck with tradition with their defensive coordinators and offensive coordinators, things of that yada 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 yada. Yeah. It looked alright. All right. And when you look at the division, all right, the Philadelphia Eagles. Give him to him Wentz. He's still there. All right. They can't get rid of him because they signed him to this contract, this ironclad contract that if they release him, they're going to have so much dead cap money. All right. So they can't afford to release him. All right. When you look at the Redskins, they got two quarterbacks that they're not too fond with. Okay. Hassans, they drafted him a couple of years ago. He's just not showing no expectations. All right. And then Alex Smith, he's on his 105th knee surgery. And, his prime is done and over with. And when you got the Giants, they're rebuilding yet again. All right. They're not too sure if they got their quarterback of the future, which, if you listen to everyone, all these people that, all these talking heads of in the NFL universe, they say the most sacred position, the position that you got to get it right is the quarterback position. And if you look at the Dallas Cowboys versus the Giants, the Redskins, and the Eagles, I feel like that Prescott is a better quarterback than those quarterbacks in our division. All right. So you got Mike McCarthy. He's the last time he won a Super Bowl was like 10 years ago with Aaron Rodgers. And then when you look at what Aaron Rodgers did the first year without Mike McCarthy, he didn't do too well. All right. Now he's doing great this year. Okay. But one would have argued and one would believe, okay, well, Mike, he's a quarterback whisperer. He had Brett Favre. He already had Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers. Okay. And then I forgot the backup that stayed a backup for the Packers. And he could have landed a starting job anywhere. Okay. And he did pretty good work with him. So if you look at Mike McCarthy's resume, okay, one would believe that, it's an upgrade for the Dallas Cowboys. And this year has been a total disaster, okay? From start to finish, from game one to the last game yesterday. And all the Dallas Cowboys had to do was win one stinking game against the Washington football team. And they could not do it. They could not even do their own job. All right. Now, I'm so sick of the Andy Dalton. Oh, he's the Dak Prescott replacement. I mean, Dak Prescott's going to have to take a pay cut because he's doing phenomenal things. If Andy Dalton was half of the player that you guys say he is, he would still be in Cincinnati. But there's a reason why the Cincinnati Bengals released him. Okay? They found them. They're working on their quarterback of the future, and I think they found a gem there. All right, not to say Andy Dalton sucks. I think Andy Dalton is a great backup if your quarterback's injured, and if you got 3 games where your quarterback could possibly come back, then Andy Dalton can be a stopgap. Okay, but long term, no, fam, no. All right. So here's my thing with the Dallas Cowboys. And now let's talk about their future. Let's talk about their future. I feel like next year they are still in the hunt to win the division because the other teams that are in their division, pretty much nothing's going to change. All right. Jalen Hurts is going to be the new quarterback, the future quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm about to say Philadelphia 76ers. The Philadelphia Eagles. And they're going to, it'll be his first full year as the starter. So when you start a rookie quarterback, you don't have these high expectations of going to the playoffs or the Super Bowl. You're pretty much experimenting with him, see what works, what doesn't work. All right. And he's going to be on the job training. So the Philadelphia Eagles are not, playoff contenders next year. And by the look of the rest of what they have on their roster, a lot of those guys that they paid big money to that won the Super Bowl a couple of seasons ago, a lot of those guys are getting older. So they got decisions to make about keeping them, getting a pay cut, or just simply flat out releasing them, which I feel like that's what they're going to do because Carson Wentz, there's no takers for Carson Wentz. Give it to him, Wentz. Nobody's not really in the market for him. They're not going to trade for him with that ridiculous salary that he got unless Carson Wentz, smartens up, take a pay cut so he can possibly get up out of there. Out of the Philadelphia Eagles, but then he's going to probably land to another team that he's probably going to be a backup, all right? And it'll be too late in the process of looking for a job because a lot of these teams that need quarterbacks, they're probably going to be drafting a quarterback because they pick high enough to get a quarterback, like the New York Jets, all right? So you got that aspect. And then when you look at Washington, they just released Dwayne Haskins. That was a bust, okay? Even though they say they released him because of COVID-19 and, he went to a strip club without a mask and he really wasn't, the real truth came out that, he wasn't really studying and preparing himself to be the quarterback for the Washington football team. They make all these excuses, but he was a bust from day one, okay? Let's not get it twisted, all right? So you got that aspect, all right? And then you got Alex Smith. I just don't see him with the Washington Redskins, maybe as a backup. But, Washington Redskins, they too are going to be looking for a successor for their football team, maybe in the draft or maybe in free agency, all right? Give it to him wins, maybe. I don't know, all right? So, and then you got the Giants. They're not sure about their quarterback, all right? They're not even 100% sure about their quarterback. Their quarterback has, just this year alone, he had some ups and he had some downs, all right? But you still don't have enough there to say, okay, is this our quarterback in the future? So possibly they're going to be looking for, someone in free agency or maybe in the draft, okay? Just like what the Philadelphia Eagles did with their team last year, right? So when you look at the Dallas Cowboys, and y'all say the quarterback position, you have to get it right with the quarterback position. I feel like Dallas Cowboys got it right with the quarterback position. If you just compare Dak Prescott in that division, all right? easily, I feel like the Dallas Cowboys got that. Now, when you talk about talent, pro football, they say that the Dallas Cowboys have a lot of talent on their roster. To me, that is yet to be seen, is yet to be determined. But obviously, all right, when you look at, Ezekiel Elliott is just a shell of himself. It wouldn't surprise me none if the Dallas Cowboys go, yo, Zeke, is there any way you can help this team out? Like maybe reduce your contract, your salary, all right? So we can have enough money for Dak Prescott, because clearly you're not the answer, okay? Your replacement is doing a lot better than you. Ezekiel Elliott has turned from a running back to a fullback overnight. I don't know what's going on with Ezekiel Elliott, but clearly he's not the answer, and that's some money that you can get back from Ezekiel Elliott if he wants to remain a starting running back for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, if they release him, I'm pretty sure there's going to be tons of teams out there that's going to pick him up, but he's not going to make nowhere near the money that he was making with the Dallas Cowboys, or even second most money. So I think, Ezekiel Elliott wouldn't have no issues with trimming some of that salary. All right. And I just had the receivers. Oh my God. So he was with Oakland. All right. And I guarantee you, I said his name in the beginning. I forgot his name now, but, obviously, you done had him multiple years, all right? And it just seems like we're not going to get those draft picks back, okay? We gave away 2 good draft picks for this receiver. And he's going to be, and he's talking about making $20 million a year. And he hasn't even shown that he can carry a team. So obviously, you're going to have to release. You have to just cut your losses and release him. All right. Now, he's going to probably go to another team, and he's going to flourish in that team, and he's going to show, and he's going to work hard to try to get a contract extension with his future team. Okay. But I feel like he's one of those type of players that, he'll work so hard, he'll stay in the training rooms, the film session, and then once he gets close to his extension, he just stops producing. So obviously we got robbed, we got bamboozled. We gave away 2 draft picks to the Raiders for this receiver. And I forgot his name. I apologize. I'm pretty sure people are going to say in the comment section his name. I said it in the beginning. I just forgot about it that fast. Amari Cooper. This guy is a total bust, okay? A total bust. I don't care what the stats tell you guys. I don't care. A lot of Amari Cooper stands are going to go in the video and comment in the comment section talking about, oh, you're so wrong about Amari Cooper. Okay, we gave up so much for Amari Cooper. Okay, what game this year or last year that Amari Cooper just simply took over? Games, not a game, games, okay, where Amari Cooper services was very needed for the Dallas Cowboys to prevail in victory against a team that was in the playoffs last year or this year. It's not ironically that all our wins thus this far are wins against teams that are not in the playoffs, okay? But when it comes to teams that are making a run for the playoffs or in the playoffs, we lose to them. All right? And not to get anything twisted or confused, but Dak Prescott, look here, man. You got to tone down your expectations, my guy. All right? Because I haven't seen enough of Dak Prescott to say I'm going to give him $40 million a year. Okay? You need to talk to your agent. All right? And y'all need to have a one-on-one conversation. All right? Do you want to be here or not? Okay? That's basically, yes. I just said earlier in the video, I feel like we're solid on the quarterback position. Okay? But if you give Dak Prescott that type of money, then what you're basically saying is we're going to have to talk to these other players, that we gave money to and see if we can get some of our money back with some of those defensive players that y'all signed in the of this offseason. They're not panning out. Okay, so are you still want to give them a second, knowing the Cowboys, they're going to say, well, maybe, this year was an off year. Let's give them a chance. But even if you do sign Dak Prescott, even if those defensive players were good, all right, you can't keep everybody happy. You can't give everybody a contract, okay? Because there's a such thing called a salary cap, all right? If you give Dak Prescott $40 million, half of your cap, all right, you're not going to be able to keep those players, okay? All right, so Amari Cooper, we're going to have to cut our losses on him. That's money well saved, all right? Ezekiel Elliott is going to have to cut some of his salary down, okay? That's pretty much money well saved. And if he, fights or, I don't know what type of cap hit we'll take if we just simply flat out release Ezekiel Elliott, but I'll just take my chances on releasing him, let him go to another team, and keep what I have on my roster, all right? What I have on my roster is pretty decent, all right? The Henry kid for the Titans, do y'all know that he rushed for 2,000 yards? He's got more yards than Ezekiel Elliott, okay? And y'all want to pay Ezekiel Elliott that type of money? Are y'all kidding me? All right? Excuse me? Okay, so, yeah, this is a rant. I apologize. But, look, I just got to call it for what it is, all right? The Dallas Cowboys, if you look at them for next year, if Dak Prescott comes back, we won 2 fewer games than Jason Garrett, which, by the way, he's in talks of being the head coach for the Chargers. He was the offensive coordinator. Here's how funny the NFL works for you, all right? He was the offensive coordinator for the Giants, okay? Didn't do nothing for the Giants, okay? Didn't do diddly squat as the OC for the Giants. And now there's talks about him being a head coach for the San Diego Chargers. Okay, all right, whatever, all right? But look, all kidding aside, seriousness aside, Mike McCarthy, Jason Garrett won 2 more games more than Mike McCarthy. Okay? And Mike McCarthy, there was talks about his regime talking about possibly going into the playoffs. And all we have to do is just simply do our job first, okay? We beat the the Giants, okay? And then Washington going to have to win, which probably not going to really help us. But look, okay, if we done our job, okay, and it would have been a higher percentage of us possibly going into the playoffs. But just simply doing our job, okay, which wasn't really a tall task, by the way, all right? We're talking about the New York Football Giants, all right? And, they shown flashes this season, but they was in the same predicament as the Dallas Cowboys, all right? And we couldn't even beat them. This wasn't the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, okay? This wasn't the New England Patriots of the past, okay? This wasn't the Green Bay Packers of today, all right? It was the New York Giants, and we couldn't even do our stinking jobs. That should just tell you in a nutshell that what we have on our roster is a bunch of players that are overpaid, okay? That are put in these positions of influence, all right? That Pro Football Talk, talks about them as having some type of talent. How these Dallas Cowboy fans, these stands talk about, oh, we got all this talent, all right? And the proof is in the pudding. I mean, the football teams, I'm not going to go like Shannon Sharp, which, by the way, I'm going to do a video on Shannon Sharp because I think Shannon Sharp is really doing a little bit too much on television. Look, I'm not going to say they stink, but what I am going to tell you is, look, they're not worth the paper that they signed those contracts to. So obviously, if you have to release, if you go to them and say, hey, we need you to take a pay cut, they don't want to take a pay cut, just release them. Just release them. There was a moment in time this season where they was talking about the Dallas Cowboys possibly getting, if they lose enough, we can possibly get the second pick or the third pick of the draft. There was a time when they was talking about that. You got Mike McCarthy, all right? You got all this talent that you paid on the defensive end, on the defensive side. You locked up Ezekiel Elliott, okay? Too early, in my opinion, okay? You're about to lock up Amari Cooper, okay? You got CD Lamb, all right? And now you're talking about possibly getting, possibly getting a draft pick of the top 2 or the top 3 for this upcoming draft. And now we went from there to going on a winning streak and possibly entering the playoffs, which, by the way, folks, even if we won and got in the playoffs, our first opponent would have been Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Good night, folks. That's all she wrote. We don't have enough talent compared to the firepower that they have on the offensive side of things. You got Tom Brady and Gronk and Antonio Brown and the list goes on and on and on. Okay, I don't see us winning against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But if you look at the Dallas Cowboys, they're going to be in the same position like they are today. All right. Clearly, there's going to have to be some moves. Okay. One. These players that they have built up and hyped up and ranked up as far as, oh man, we got the best. I mean, we need to really look at and evaluate these players. Are these players really that good? Amari Cooper talking about getting a contract extension. If you can get him less, if you can pay him less, fine, I'm cool with that. But if he thinks he can make big time money, look, just cut your losses, okay? John Gruden and the Raiders, they did a disservice for us. We just got bamboozled, hoodwinked, okay? We gave up draft picks for Amari Cooper. Amari Stinky Cooper, okay? Which, by the way, he was on the roster when we got CD Lamb. It's just mind-boggling to me. So, all right, yeah. And Dak Prescott, yeah. He's a solid piece. Don't get it twisted. I think this guy's going to do some big things. But first, we got to get to the part of you doing big things. All right? I've seen enough of Dak Prescott. Obviously, he's going to need talent around him. He's not the quarterback. He's not a Peyton Manning. Okay? He's not a John Elway. Okay? He can do more with less. He's not that type of quarterback. Okay? But he's a solid quarterback that if you put talent around him, if you put talent around him, he can do some great things and possibly get us deep in the playoffs and possibly win a Super Bowl. Okay? But you have to have players around him. And if he's demanding $40 million plus, all right, you only got so few bucks to put talent around him. Well, you got CD Lamb, all right? But you're going to need more talent just around him other than CD Lamb. And then you got to have some sort of money for your defense. Your offensive line, I didn't even talk about this, is getting older, okay? Which the Dallas Cowboys, they sort of put the horse in front of the cart. All right, you got to start with offensive line. Okay, you got to start with your lines, your offense and your defensive line. All right, which they did in the past. But time they got a replacement for Romo, that line was already in its prime. So you really didn't even utilize. You didn't really get a lot of success with Dak Prescott in that line. Okay, yeah, you won a lot of games, but you didn't go into the postseason, and you didn't even make it to the playoffs. I mean, the Super Bowl. And that line is getting older. So now chances are we got a top 10 pick. I don't see them drafting a quarterback. They may draft something on the offensive end. They should draft for the offensive line. Just go ahead and start rebuilding that from scratch. Okay. But something tells me they're going to get somebody on the defensive side of things, a difference maker. All right. And add it to what they already have on defense. But look, man, the Dallas Cowboys are going to be in the same position like they are today. All right. And there's a possibility that they can run roughshod in the NFC East. They need to hurry up and do it now because the Redskins, they're gonna draft for a quarterback. All right, so it's gonna be a couple of years for the Redskins, or the Washington football team, to be somewhat competitive. It's going to be a couple of, maybe 3 or 4 years down the pipeline. And then when you look at the Giants, they're not too sure. They're not too sure if they have their quarterback of the future. Okay. But they're still building the team around it. All right. And when you look at the Eagles, they got Jalen Hurts. He's going to be, I feel like he's going to be a star in the making. If he just starts 2 straight years for the Eagles, they're going to have, I think they're solid on the Eagles. The Eagles are going to be solid at the quarterback position, similar to what the Cowboys are with Dak Prescott. And they're going to utilize the time they have with Jalen Hurts under that rookie contract, and they're just going to build around him. If somehow, some way they get out of give it to me Wentz contract, if they can find a trade partner, and if he wants to go, and if he really wants a trade, if you really want this trade to work, you're going to have to renegotiate your contract so you can be shipped to another team, because not a lot of teams are going to have that type of money for the contract that you're currently in right now. Okay. Plus, it's like this. Look, the Dallas Cowboys, y'all either get or get off the pot. Either get on the pot or get off the pot. All right? Y'all going to have to figure out, do you want Dak Prescott or you don't want him? All right? Now, if you say you don't want him, then you have to find somebody that's going to, you could probably trade him to a team, all right, that's desperately looking for a quarterback. Maybe the Jets might be interested in Dak Prescott, okay? Maybe the Denver Broncos will be interested in Dak Prescott, okay? So those are 2 landing spots. Maybe the Texans are interested in Dak Prescott, where you can get a boatload of picks, all right? And then you're done with the Dak Prescott drama, wanting to be signed $40 million. Maybe him going to another team, maybe his agent would reconsider his high expectations of Dak Prescott and maybe come down to a sweet part where it's beneficial for Dak, it's beneficial for the team as well. All right. But if you trade him, who you got? Okay, there's a lot of quarterbacks who have been bouncing from team to team to team that's going to be on the open market, okay? I forgot the quarterback that's for the Lions, Matthew Stafford. He might, be, is the Cowboys interested in him if he gets released by the Lions, all right? The kid that was the quarterback for the Titans, now he's a backup for the Raiders. I forgot his name as well. Are y'all interested? Jameis Winston, are y'all interested in him? I mean, there's a bunch of quarterbacks that are going to be released, okay, that are pretty much our journeymen now. Oh my God, I forgot this quarterback. The kid that was with the Raiders. With the New England Patriots, and then he signed a contract with the 49ers. There's a possibility that he could be released. But he has a relationship with the Patriots organization. If he gets released, chances are he's going to go with the Patriots. All right, Cam Newton. Y'all want to dive into Cam Newton? And see, this is what my thing was last year. All right, when everybody was talking about Tom Brady leaving the Patriots, and that's a solid pickup. Why the Cowboys didn't even, and from the stories I read, there was not a lot of teams were going to sign Tom Brady. So it was really either Tampa Bay or the Cowboys. All right, and if the Cowboys would have, just picked up the phone and talked to him, try to convince him to come to Cowboys. If he would have been the starter, I felt like he could have done more with what's on the offensive side of things. All right, and Antonio Brown would have came with Tom Brady, and then you have the decision to make. You want to go ahead and try to trade Amari Cooper somewhere because you really don't need him, because now you got Antonio Brown and CeeDee Lamb, and then I forgot the other kid, the other receiver that's doing phenomenal, that's doing good, solid things for the Cowboys. Okay, and yeah, the defensive line isn't as good compared to the Tampa Bay offensive line, but the Tampa Bay offensive line, it wasn't that good a year ago. All right, so I think the way how Tom Brady runs a system, he's not going to be, back there long enough for a defensive line to, sack him. So the same type of magic he's doing with Tampa Bay, he probably would have equally done that same type of magic with the Dallas Cowboys in a division that's the NFC least. Okay, and and then you probably have to find a trade partner for Dak Prescott. Okay, here's what's wrong with the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys are micro on top of micro on top of micro on top of micro managed. Okay, we're signing players that are decent. Okay, but not for the money that they signed them to. All right, and then on positions where you have to make a decision real fast, real quick, which way you're going, like the quarterback position, you screwed that up. Okay, you could have signed Dak Prescott 2 seasons ago. All right, but no, you wanted to delay it, and then now you're at a position where this man wants $40 million a season. You offered him 30, and he turned that down. Let's just say hypothetically they reach a maybe 35. Okay, 35. Okay, you're paying a guy who just coming off injury. Yeah, he have shown some flashes of brilliance. Yeah, he have won playoff games. Yeah, there's a possibility that he can take us to the Super Bowl. But my thing of it is, y'all done effed this up so bad. Y'all have effed. I don't know what the Joneses are doing, but they have screwed this thing up, and it's rotten from the core. All right, and you just can't just go, well, let's just burn it all up. Let's just get rid of the coach. Let's just get rid of. Okay, you got to start somewhere, and the Dallas Cowboys, the decisions they have made thus far has put them in a predicament where just simply firing somebody isn't going to be the end all and be all with this organization. It's been over 10 years since we won a Super Bowl. I'm not expecting the Dallas Cowboys to win a Super Bowl, but I am expecting the Dallas Cowboys to be very successful in their own division. And if you look at what they have, even if Dak Prescott's going to come back, you're still going to have the same problems. When Dak Prescott was there this year, they were winning games late. It wasn't the fact that they won because of the arm of Dak Prescott. They were winning games late. They were already losing the games with Dak Prescott. So, man, I am hurt. It's beyond me with the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know. I feel like you can't burn everything down around the Dallas Cowboys, but they're going to have to make better decisions. Better decisions, folks. And it, Shannon Sharp is going to be laughing about us for the next several years. Stephen A. Smith is going to always have these cliches of an accident waiting to happen. But I said this on a video on this channel, and I said that you should just start all over. Just let Dak Prescott leave. Just get rid of anything that you thought that was talented and just start this train over again. But we just came off of that only to redo it again. Okay? There's huge gapping holes with the Dallas Cowboys. They're not, as far as quarterback, they're not sure. I don't know what's going on with Dak Prescott. Then they're talking about Amari Cooper, which you're never going to get back what you gave for Amari Cooper. So we just going to have to take an L on that. There are some bright spots with the Dallas Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb, and all those. I mean, it's just bad, folks. It's just really bad. And they could have easily secured the quarterback position many moons ago. They could have went on and just hurried up and signed him. And even if Dak Prescott, if you signed him early, even if he is proven a bust, okay, you can still pretty much get rid of him now. Which I can understand why they didn't sign him, because look, everybody was on a signing tip. The Eagles signed Carson Wentz, and now they're stuck with Carson Wentz from beginning to end. They're not going to get rid of him anytime soon. Teams that desperately need quarterbacks, they're not going to want Carson Wentz, not for that money. Okay, Dwayne Haskins, he's already been released by the Washington Redskins. He's a bust. Okay, the Giants are not sure about what they have at the quarterback position, so I can understand, hindsight being 2020, why they didn't want to go full in on Dak Prescott. But look, the clock was ticking on, are you going to sign him or are you going to release him? And if you're not sure about something, why keep it? Why keep it? Just release it. All right? And he can probably go somewhere and do some phenomenal things with another team. Okay? But, man, this is, as a Dallas Cowboy fan, this is the most pain I have been as a Dallas Cowboy, because the future is not too good. If you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, it is not good at all, because you got so much uncertainty with this team, starting from the top to the bottom. Okay. This is a rant. There's a lot of things I said in this video. I apologize. Look, it's going to take more than a draft and free agency to steer this ship right. And I feel like the time the Dallas Cowboys steer this ship right, it's going to be too late. Then the NFC least is going to be the NFC beast, okay? Philadelphia is only getting better, all right? The Washington football team, even though they don't have a quarterback, but they are on track of getting better. The Giants, they're not too sure about their quarterback, but I feel like they're going to make a very fast decision on whether or not they got their quarterback of the future. But the way how they're proceeding is going to get better for the Giants, okay? And with the Dallas Cowboys, you do not see that, because the future is so bleak. You don't know where they're going with this, okay? You don't know where Jerry Jones is going with this. Too much micromanaging, too much signing players to extensions, and they haven't even proven that they can be productive on the roster. Anywho, I'm done. It's your boy. I'm up out of here. Deuces.